Welcome to Subscription Prescription, the podcast where you get the information you need to scale your subscription program. Before we dive into this week's dose, I want to talk real quickly about loyalty. For those of you out there that are trying to figure out how to craft a good program that gets people engaged, creates referrals, drives additional revenue for your business through your existing customers, and you've tried a lot of other solutions, there's something you need to be aware of, and that company is called Upzello. Upzello is an e-commerce loyalty, membership, and referral app that creates greater engagement with your customers by leveraging digital loyalty cards on Apple and Google Wallet. What do digital loyalty cards do? Well, basically, you're able to send a push notification right to somebody's phone. You're able to trigger a lot of different behaviors based on those things like special offers based on the location that person is. And your actual customers will be able to use their phone and that digital loyalty card to show people and add them through their referral links right there on their phone. There really isn't another way to engage directly with your consumers on the place where they're living, their phone, in a way that drives greater engagement and sales for your business. I highly suggest you take a look at Upzello today. They're actually running a special for all of my listeners and readers here. If you use the code DRSUB, DRSUB on Upzello, I'll have a link to them in the show notes. And you can also get 25% off for 3 months. They'll set up everything free for you so you can see how it's working. And go check out my newsletter because I'm including some specials on case studies related to what they've been doing and what they've been successful so far. So highly recommend giving Upzello a try if you're looking for ways to get better at loyalty and better with engagement for your customers. Hello and welcome to another dose of Subscription Prescription. I'm your host, Matthew Holman, and this is the podcast where we try to help you understand everything related to direct-to-consumer subscriptions. On this week's dose, we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of subscriptions, regardless of the size of your brand. These are things that you should be paying attention to. In my work as a consultant, I work with brands that are just starting out all the way up to those running hundreds of thousands of subscriptions. And I see a lot of common issues from both big and small. And I think the truth is, as you're growing and growing quickly, you're acquiring new customers, it's actually pretty easy to let subscriptions fall by the wayside in the sense of like, what are best practices for that? Because you're so focused on growth and acquisition. So I'm going to go through some basics here. This is also like a really common elements from my audit strategy. When I look at brands, I'm generally aside from my clients, talking to 2 to 3 brands a week, running audits, doing these types of conversations. So this is pulled from all of those things of what people are seeing that works, and what you should be worrying about when it relates to growing and managing your subscription program. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times we're obsessing over churn and trying to figure out at the point of churn or 2 months into a subscription, how do I keep somebody from canceling? And I want to kind of like start by saying and explaining from a fundamental standpoint, there really are only 3 things you can do for subscribers to build subscription revenue. All right. You can increase the number of subscribers you have. You can increase the amount that they spend with you or the average order value of those subscribers. And you can work to increase the number of subscription orders that every subscriber has, right? So that's the 3 legs of that stool. And we often want to focus on the retention piece because that feels like the most valuable piece, but there are actually some places that can be more impactful for you in the long term, especially. And that's actually focusing on the top of funnel or the point of purchase for subscribers, right? So, but in order to do that, I do like kind of like working backwards into this. So I'm going to start with some of the things that I think are the easiest things that you can do to improve your subscription program, and then back into the things that are going to be the most impactful for you long term. So one of the first things is actually around information gathering. So I'm a huge proponent of using post-purchase surveys, leveraging them not just for attribution, but for asking questions related to the type of person that they are, if they've used your product before or a product like yours before, things that maybe they hesitated on buying, what was compelling, what are they excited about, what is the use case related to your product that they're buying from. Keep in mind, no matter what you're selling, you could be selling a coffee, but the people maybe are buying it because they're really excited to make coffee at home, or they're just tired of spending money at Starbucks. Those are two different types of users, and we could actually speak and sell to them in a different way, right? One's going to be a little bit more worried about price, and the other is going to be a little bit more worried about experience, right? So just even getting that far down the rabbit hole can be really impactful for how we address all these other touch points that I'm going to be talking about. The next part of like the next part of information gathering, relating to your users, is at the point of cancellation. And this is also one of the easiest places to start just being a little bit more effective in how we keep people on the subscription longer. When you're very new to subscriptions, I would make sure that you just have cancellation reasons that you're setting up. I would review those regularly to make sure that if there are options that are not getting picked very much, that you add a couple new ones in there. And you can also pay attention to, in the coffee example I just used, where somebody wants a really good experience, you could actually ask, like, I had a bad experience with the product, or this product didn't transform my life the way that I thought it would. Right? It'd be good to understand if that's the reason why somebody is leaving, not just because they might maybe have too much product or they thought the price was too high. You can also start looking at offering offers actually to people to keep them from canceling. This is like discounts. You can put treatments in there, like skip an order or delay. Depending on your platform, they're called a few different things, but I wouldn't get too lost in the weeds on that. When you're under maybe 1,000 subscribers, you just want to have a couple things set up where you're making like a 20% offer to some of those customers. Otherwise, you want to make sure once you get past that point, you can start to see some really good value by spending some time at, maybe once a month running a new test, or swapping out some of those answers, or swapping out some of those offers that you're giving to people to keep them from cancel. So that's kind of like the tail end of the subscriber journey, right? So we have information gathering. We want to touch the point of cancellation to make sure we're doing our best job of keeping people from leaving. Also, most platforms will let you embed a little bit of content there, whether it's a video from your founder or a little bit of a graphic, like showing why your product is worth keeping in their life, is another good place to do that. So that's just kind of like a fundamental piece. As we move back in that experience, the next place to look at is just upcoming order notifications. This is not very much work. In fact, if you're most platforms will have like a template inside Klaviyo that you can use for this. But essentially, you're like taking the order notification email saying, "Hey, your order's about to process." Take it out of your subscription app and put it into your email provider, and then put just a little bit of work and putting it on brand, reminding people why they should be excited about the order. And if you want to go a little bit farther, you could include some links on some popular items you have that they could add to their upcoming order. Okay. Again, just a simple fundamental thing. As you scale, you start testing that more, but it's something you should just be working on. And then the next piece of this is we move back from point of cancellation to an order notification email to onboarding. Make sure you're investing some time in writing out 6 or 7 really strong emails, welcoming people to the program, explaining how your product works, explaining some of your brand story or mission. If you look not too far in the distant past, I did an episode about a bunch of different email templates. You can access all of these email templates. I highly recommend looking at ChatGPT or Claude or another AI tool. You can train it in your brand voice, give it some of these objectives as well. So again, you want to make sure that you have a really good email series that lets people know what they've got coming, explaining your product. Is there something a little bit different about your coffee than somebody else's and how it was sourced? Is there something a little bit different about your brand mission that you want to make sure that those people know? That's the place to do that. Okay. Now, the next piece, moving backwards, we talked about post-purchase surveys. Mentioned that's a great place to do some information gathering there as well. Now, moving back, we get into the purchase experience. And the reason I kind of like wanted to back into this is because as we understand the reasons why people are buying from a post-purchase survey standpoint, the reasons why people are canceling from a cancellation touch point, and then related to like customer service tickets or reviews that you get from people related to things that they like or things that don't work, you get a lot of information related to how people are experiencing your product, right? This also includes understanding like, hey, people might buy on a 30-day subscription, but they often skip an order, or maybe they push that subscription out to 45 days. Maybe your product isn't getting used as much as you'd like. So it's really better to offer like a 60-day subscription instead of a 30-day subscription, right? That's the type of information I'm gathering. We look at what we could be offering at the point of purchase. The most powerful, impactful place that you can spend time on and that you should be spending most of your time on is the offer related to your subscription. So all the things I've other mentioned so far, kind of like good fundamental stuff you should put in place as you grow. You can A/B test some of those different emails, some of those cancellation reasons. The offer should be consuming a lot of your time and focus. Is not just and ways to think about this is just thinking through like design initially. What can I do to call attention to to the subscription offer? I was just looking at a brand the other day called Lonvera that are doing these beef liver pills. They had a beautiful, elegant, simple product page. It had the subscribe and save option above the one-time option. It defaulted to the subscribe and save option. It was clear, the price, the discount, the value you're getting from that. And they've seen some success just by investing time in designing that page to look that way. So just starting from a way that you can put more emphasis on the subscription offer itself, right? That's like strike through pricing to show the discount, explaining like the amount of frequency, like how much somebody should buy, and that's why that the frequency is set that way. Those are some design things to think about. But the next stage of that is the offer. Is it the primary reason why somebody should subscribe? Is it a discount? Are there other perks or benefits related? Is there a bundle offer? Are there prepaid options? I have a lot of other content that you can find, again, past podcast and newsletter doses that talk about framing the right offer. But this is the part that I want you to be thinking about and going back to the drawing board over and over again, because this can have the most powerful impact on your subscription business. As I mentioned kind of this at the start of this episode, you have those three legs. I want to do everything I can to increase average order value, and I'd like to increase the amount of orders every subscriber has. But the subscribers that I bring into the program are going to have the strongest effect on that, right? If I bring in 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start losing them more and more. Even if I get better at month 2 or 3, or even inside month 1 of retaining those subscribers, it's not going to be as effective as as I spend time on the offer to get more subscribers. Now, the caveat here is there are a lot of brands that just grow, 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 and they don't really focus on how that offer affects the retention life cycle of those subscribers. And so you're churning tons and tons of people, and it's not really effective. So the trick is why I'm saying we back into the offer is we're getting all this information from cancellations and reviews of what people like, what the people don't like, what people find valuable, and we're trying to use that to create the right type of offer to entice subscribers that are naturally going to stick around longer with us. And a couple of things I want you to keep in mind when we're doing this is prepaid subscriptions retain better than non-prepaid, partially or mostly because they've already bought 3 months or 6 months in a subscription. So that's something to look at testing on your product page or your landing page, is giving a special offer for a prepaid subscription. You can use an extra discount or a gift or some kind of other exclusive access to make that more enticing. And then discounts, the more you discount, the more you're often enticing people to just try your product and leave. So if you're seeing a lot of people, because of discounts, grabbing your product and then canceling inside month 1, you want to start thinking through maybe some different offers you can give to people that just want to try your product, whether that's like a sample pack, or maybe there's you're not discounting as much, but there's an exit intent, or you're using email to try to follow up with people to get them to try or sample something, right? Abandoned cart is what I'm talking about. You want to look at ways that are other offers that are more compelling are going to be using gifts, especially if the gift is related to the use case that somebody's trying to buy your product. Like if you're selling a drink and you're selling them a swizzle stick, or if it's coffee and it's a really cool mug, or maybe it's extra coffee of a different flavor that they can try. If you're selling a supplement like protein powder, you could offer like, a free free bottle of glutamine, skincare, right? You're getting this idea of like you can use gifts, you can use bundles as well as another lever to pull, right? So the bundle of 2 products on a subscription could be much more impactful from a price standpoint to somebody But again, it's a little bit different when it's just one product you're heavily discounting as opposed to, hey, we're giving you a bundle and it's a really special offer. Those can perform very, very well, both on the conversion, but also on retention as well. So the trick with all of this, when we're making these types of choices related to the offer, is how can I impact my lifetime value? Right? Those three legs of the stool that I mentioned all tie back to lifetime value. I either have more customers, I have higher average order values from those customers, or the amount of orders I get from them impacts that lifetime value. And I want to get into increasing average lifetime value. So when you make decisions on the offer, that should be your kind of North Star metric, lifetime value as well as contribution margin or profitability, so that you know that the decision you're making is having a positive downstream effect on retention and on the value that that subscriber has to your business. And then just a little bit before that offer, just some other things to be thinking about is how we get people to opt in to offer emails. There are a lot of really different ways to do pop-ups and examples like that. I've mentioned it before, but Alia Learn is a really cool pop-up tool that allows you to do some education. You should get into some quizzes. I'm a big fan of Digio and their quiz procedure. And actually also I've been using Okendo with a client lately and was pleasantly surprised at how robust their product is for offering quizzes. And so quizzes are this like great opportunity from a pre-purchase standpoint to both collect information from subscribers as well as educate people on why your product or why a product like yours could be effective for them. So again, starting at the back, moving all the way to the front and talking about impactful ways, but that in a sense are the fundamentals of what makes up a great subscription program. That I would say all of that is kind of subscription 101. The offer is something you could continue to study, invest, and test and build out, especially if you're getting into like different offers for different types of customers, different use cases for your product, or just different products in general on your site. And then kind of V2, or the master's level of growing your subscription program, is starting to think through how can I build like VIP or premium experiences for a certain subset of my subscribers. So everybody that subscribes to your product is not going to buy all of your other stuff. I use this example all the time, but I've been a Dollar Shave subscriber for 7-8 years now. I don't buy any of their other stuff, right? I just really like getting my razors, my razor blades. But Dollar Shave Club has a lot of other products. They have a lot of other offers related to men's grooming, skincare, those types of routines. And so they're trying to build something special for subscribers that want to go along that type of journey with them. So that's kind of like thinking about long term. What can I do that's going to be more special? Is it a membership? Is it some kind of exclusivity? Again, I really like Milk Bar subscription or membership. We've talked about that in the past, where they're offering as essentially as a subscription early access to new products that they're making. They have a really great fan base, and they were trying to find ways they could add more value to people that were just loved their product, their brand, their founder. So they found a way to do that. So the idea is like similarly, like find that 10, 20, 30% of your subscriber base, survey customers that have hit that 6, 7, 8, 9 month mark. What could we offer to you that's going to be more powerful and more impactful? Okay. Again, looking at the fundamentals as a quick overview, start at the cancellation survey so you make sure that you're collecting those reasons and making some offers. Invest a little time in making sure your upcoming order notification email is on brand and is not just the transactional based. Create some really great onboarding welcome flows for email. Have a post-purchase survey where you're asking more questions related to the customer, their expectations, what they're excited about. Looking at quizzes or other opt-in tools to gather more information from people before they buy the subscription, and then ultimately focusing on the offer itself to convert more subscribers, to convert higher LTV subscribers. And then those are the fundamentals. And then thinking forward to the future about how I can create more of a VIP experience for a subset of my customers. Okay, that's it for this week's dose. Thank you again for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn or Twitter, Matthew Holman, Subscription Doc. Check out my newsletter. I always have a link to that in the show notes as well. And I'll see you around for next week. And one final thing, be sure to check out Upzello if you're looking for a better loyalty option for your customers. Be sure to use Dr. Sub as a code to get 25% off for 3 months and get everything set up for free for you by the Upzello team. That's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe so that you can get notified when new episodes come out each week on Tuesdays.